big thing. But I was just wondering if this week, if you could be just a little bit more cordial to Garrett, just a little bit nicer, and not not pick on him as much because just about every night this week I've got a phone call in the middle of the night. 3 nights I've had to go over to Garrett's house and basically rock him back to sleep because he's having nightmares about you coming in to hurt him. And I just
I did ask him not to share this, but
it needs to be addressed. It's a very stressful time of the year as it is, and he works very very hard, and I'm just asking if you could just be a little bit nicer to him.
All right, first, do you need another apology?
no, I'm good.
You sure?
Nope.
I'll apologize right now.
No. I'll never need another apology for anything. I'm good.
All right.
I'm all set.
So you request that I'm a little bit nicer to him?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll be nicer to Garrett.
All right, I appreciate
That leaves
that.
you open
I'm wide open, buddy.
if I feel it.
But our topic this week is musicals.
Yes.
The most manly of topics as there is. Now, there are some of these we haven't seen, so they've been omitted. These are ones we've seen for the most part, all three of us. And I say we go right into it. We got Blues Brothers versus Chicago.
I'm going to have to go with Blues Brothers.
Now, what about Blues Brothers do you love?
Belushi.
It's Belushi and Aykroyd. I mean,
Belushi and Aykroyd are great, yes.
Now, Chicago's gotten all this critical acclaim and everything. It's a movie that's never connected with me.
me either.
See, I will admit I do enjoy Chicago.
Right.
For the most part. It got a little overplayed in my household. I agree.
I think it got a little overplayed in general.
Yeah.
I think, but just as all movie guys here, and if you're like a super deep into movies fan, like just because something got like all the critical acclaim doesn't mean especially lately, like everything that wins is like movies that like no one sees. You know what I mean? Like.
There's
Like not no one, but like
it's movies no one sees.
It's like, oh, they gave this like riveting performance. Be like, okay, but you're telling me that like
because somebody performs good in something doesn't mean that the film as a whole is entertaining.
Yeah.
Like take Suicide Squad for example.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's performance was awesome.
Yeah.
The movie blew.
You didn't like it?
No, the movie was terrible.
It was
The
horrendous.
movie was absolutely terrible.
Well, with me, with Blues Brothers, I remember watching Blues Brothers as a kid.
Right.
So I don't really even know who Belushi. I know Aykroyd's Ray from Ghostbusters, but I don't really know. And just the whole, like, it takes you on a legitimate journey, on a mission from God, one might say. And the music, just that genre of music, just that deep blues and everything else, it moves you. I don't care who you are, what walk of life you come from.
Yeah.
That music, that gets you.
Yeah.
And it's so outlandish and crazy that it works so well.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies. I grew up with it, and the music is amazing. The acting is good. I mean, you got Belushi and Aykroyd here, but then you got John Candy popping up.
You have so many different cameos.
And then you got all the musical legends. You got Aretha Franklin.
Carrie Fisher plays the crazy stalker in it.
And she was great at that.
She was amazing. Like
there's no bad part about that movie.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, so I think it's
so
pretty up for.
All right, so we're going Blues Brothers?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
Chicago fans.
Yeah,
and actually, both movies are based in Chicago.
Yeah. So I mean,
yes,
with a lot
only
of
one of
these,
them has Illinois Nazis.
Yes.
With a lot of these, you're gonna hit. It's just like anyone else's like personal list. It's like, oh, someone's gonna be like, you're gonna tell me the Blues Brothers is better than Chicago? Like, am I gonna say better? No,
I am entitled to my opinion.
but we're picking it over it as our favorites.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's that's a thing I've always been big on. Any type of list.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
That's something we've learned on this show, and we've stated it might not be the better quote unquote movie. It's the movie that we
Yeah.
we feel the most.
Yeah.
Like, because you can always sit there and piss and moan and debate about, oh, well, the graphics on this and the way it was shot,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how'd you feel about it?
Right.
Because
Which is why Super Mario made it as far as it did in the
Right.
video game one.
Well,
because we love it.
What's wrong with
Even
that
though
movie?
it's-
Nothing. It's a great movie.
oh, if you watch that one, I was brokenhearted that it did not win.
Yeah.
Oh. So next we got Les Mis and Rock of Ages.
I have not seen Rock of Ages.
I have.
I've seen the
I
film,
was pleasantly blown away by it.
so I've seen the movie.
Because I
and
expected nothing from
I
it.
saw it when they did the off Broadway on at the stand, and I actually preferred the stage version to the movie one. It's a great movie. Les Mis, again, it's another one of those movies that get. And it's great. It's just so long, and like it has great performances. Like Hugh Jackman kills it in that movie. It just I sit there and the way I gauge a movie if I really like a movie or not, am I inclined to pick up my phone to check my messages, to check what's going on? Because if that's happened to me during a movie,
You're bored.
like it's not like it's like oh okay. So for me, Rock of Ages is one of those. Like the movie's good. Tom Cruise actually has a great performance in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I thought everyone did well in it. It was I feel like the kid who was the main character really got shat on. He's not even on the cover because everyone else is more that was in every other role is more famous than him, and he was I thought the breakout star of the movie, but then it's like all the Tom Cruise like knocks it out of the park, which he does. I mean, he trained for I think he vocally trained for 2 months to sing all the parts himself, and then all he had to do was the stage act like a rock star on stage, which was probably actually the easiest part for him. Let's be honest. So, but I mean, I was pleasantly blown away. I mean, like Les Mis is sad. You know what I mean?
I laughed my ass off.
It's uber depressing.
My favorite part was the kid getting shot. I love that. I laughed so hard. Everybody dies. I love movies where everybody dies and it's miserable and not happy. Love it.
So you love Les Mis?
I don't love it, but I listen. Tom Cruise isn't in that one, so I'm going to prefer it.
Okay, so
you're not a Cruise fan?
No.
So and you're going Rock of Ages?
This tall.
I'd go Rock. I mean, simply because it's just not like super sad stuff. Just it's like, oh,
I'm also
I get into
gonna go Rock of Ages.
That's fair.
I'm honestly shocked that it's still one because I knew I was gonna go at least over these two. So
What the hell is that? Can't you write it nice?
So
yeah.
And just for fun, I'm using these other buttons instead of the cut. I don't know. We'll see how everything.
Oh,
yeah, they slide in different. Yeah, we got fly and cube zoom and
wow.
So it's gonna look like an 8th grade presentation. On
Yeah,
PowerPoint.
pretty much.
All right.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. So now we got Jersey Boys versus Phantom of the Opera.
Okay, so with Phantom of the Opera, we're going to talk the more recent version of it, not the
Gerard Butler.
Not the Universal Monsters version of it. Tell us how you feel about Phantom.
I love Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
The music is great. The way it's put together is amazing. The imagery that they use, I find to be quite visually stunning. It's dark, but then you got the moments of brightness, like at the Masquerade.
Right.
It's pleasing to look at. It's pleasing to hear. It's all around. It's a very well-rounded movie. Gerard Butler, especially with him, he surprised me because you hear how he talks with that thick Scottish accent.
Yeah.
But that's him singing.
Right. He's such talent.
He used to be in a band. My mom was absolutely obsessed with him. I don't know why.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Sexy Scottish man. I can see.
And it's funny too.
Yeah.
Like,
has anybody seen 300? Like, yeah.
Listen, that's also a great movie, but we're not talking about that right now. But no, Phantom is great. I have nothing bad to say. Well, no, they could have got a better Christine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I can't think of anything bad to say about that movie.
Right.
Now, so with Jersey Boys is the story of the Four Seasons.
Right.
And I have seen the movie, and I actually went and saw that one live too, out in Syracuse. And like, you forget how many good songs the Four Seasons have.
Right.
They got a
And
ton.
it, like, and I grew up on the Andrew Lloyd Webber soundtrack to Phantom. Like, one of my good friends, he loved it. My mom always loved, like, musical soundtracks and everything. So I heard all of it and everything. And I can't say anything bad about Phantom. Just something about Jersey Boy, some like that's like just those songs, like those songs that, like, you know, your parents grew up with, so they played in the house all the time, and it just gives you that imagery of a happy time, happy place, just that simplistic thing. I'm gonna have to go Jersey Boys. I didn't think I would, but I think I like Jersey Boys just a little bit better than I did Phantom.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's fine. No, Jersey Boys is good, and the fact that it's based on actual events, it makes it even better.
Right.
But
I definitely agree with the I like, you know, the music of the of Jersey Boys, the Four Seasons, and everything, but I do think cinematically and everything that Phantom has got to actually be a better movie in itself. Like, if we're talking about actual stage plays, I think it could end up going like different ways with different things. But these two specific movies, I think I'd actually go Phantom over that. Which then takes us to what's this one gonna do? We're gonna take us to Hairspray versus Across the Universe. Now,
Hairspray, we're talking about the one with Travolta's in drag, right?
Correct.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm not a big fan of either one of these.
Me neither. I hate the Beatles.
I love the Beatles, but I love this movie. I thought it was to take everything that they did and lay it out across what they did. I
love the concept.
Yeah,
the concept.
The concept alone on it is
concept is great,
and they got what the concept was going for. You know what I mean?
Right. No, they did it. I just like the Beatles music's okay. Like I feel like people give them far more credit and acclaim than what they really are. I believe they're very, very overhyped. Like, they have some good songs.
I understand what people say
I
about
like Help.
that, but the Beatles could also fall into the category a lot like what's his name? Oh my God, why am I blanking? I'm always blank on names. Bob Dylan.
Dylan sucks too.
To where he's written good songs, and when other people perform the songs, they're great. Right. You know what I mean? So, and that's, you know, I still like listening to the original, like, you know, Beatles stuff of it, but there are later done versions, even versions from this movie that I'd rather listen to than the ones that they did.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
I'll give it to Across the Universe because I hate Hairspray.
I didn't really like it either, to be honest.
I don't like the Beatles. I don't like Hairspray. I don't care one way or the other. So yeah. Whatever. This one, I have no dog in this fight.
And if we look at the next one, I don't think it's honestly going to matter anyways, because as much as I love that, there's no way I'm putting it over what it's going for next. So then we have Annie versus Willy Wonka.
All I have to say, it's a hard knock life, guys. Hell yeah. The original Annie? That movie is awesome.
Okay, I'm not literally not gonna try to knock Annie at all. Okay,
well, it sounds like you're about to.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just putting Willy Wonka way above it. It's Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, dude.
We're talking the Gene Wilder.
Yeah. No, not the other one was trash.
You're disrespecting Gene Wilder like this?
I'm not disrespecting him. I'm choosing Annie. It's a heartfelt story about an orphan little girl who's having this hard knock life.
Just because she sang a song about it doesn't make it a hard knock life.
She lived in an orphanage where she was abused.
And where'd she end up?
Exactly. That's why I love this movie. It has a happy ending for this little ginger who just wanted to be loved.
It's the ginger thing.
I'm not a ginger. I just have a red beard.
I have that problem too.
Mm-hmm. But we're both going Willy
Wonka.
Okay, so then too
Which-
too over. I mean, it's so.
Well, that's as far as
Look,
that's.
I'm not going to take anything away from Annie.
No, that's what
I
I'm saying.
won't.
I'm not trying to take anything away.
You
from
just
it.
took her whole life. You just said that she had it easy.
She didn't have it easy.
I'm
But
not.
it's
I'm
not-
not trying
it's
to
not
take
Willy
anything
Wonka.
away from Annie. I'm just saying. Well, I could watch Willy Wonka at the drop of a hat. At the drop of a hat.
Drop of a
any day.
hut.
Drop of a
Who's
hut.
dropping Jabba around
Yeah.
here?
Ain't nobody picking up Jabba. Okay.
All right, next we have.
It's Rocky Horror. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Let's.
there's no-
Okay. Like.
there's no question.
There's not. I don't often like just jump in and say boom, screw it. We're not. But okay. But I do not like Moulin Rouge. I don't. I never did. I went and saw it with a friend at the time in the theater. I was just like, oh my god, get me out of here.
You don't like Midget John Leguizamo?
I did not like Moulin Rouge at all. And we're talking Rocky Horror Picture. We can even save Rocky Horror Picture Show to talk about it with the next one because it's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, that's a nice matchup.
That's a nice matchup on the next one, so we can get to that after.
So okay, so for this next matchup here, we got the Muppets versus High School Musical. Well, and I absolutely love the Muppets.
Yeah.
I am from as far back as I can remember, the Muppets have been something that I hold. I remember the day Jim Henson died,
Yeah.
and I was devastated as a 5-year-old. Like, and when so they had their run of really good movies, and then after Muppets in Space, they had like Muppets and the Wizard of Oz. They just had they just fell off.
They oversaturated.
And when Jason Segel took the reins for this movie, and he crafted, in my opinion, a near perfect Muppet movie. And the songs in this, when this soundtrack came out, I must have listened to it for a year, like because Logan, my oldest, was just born. This is what played in my house all, and I like Man in a Muppet. Like it's such a great movie, and I'll put it up against any other musical in here, and I would have a dogfight with it. But Muppets is mine.
It's for me. Muppets is going over High School Musical. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, like I know it was a phenomenon of its generation, but it kind of missed me. You know what I mean?
My
As
job at the
far-
time, the kids there watched it all the time.
Yeah, so-
and like that is the franchise that gave us Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
it's you know,
I actually, Efron did great as Bundy.
Efron's like
he's
he's who I want for Nightwing. He's who I want as a cinematic Nightwing.
He should be Nightwing.
He'd be perfect as Dick
Yes, I've been
Grayson.
saying that since Dark Knight Returns.
He'd
Because he's
be-
like, oh, no sidekicks. I'm like, why not just skip over all of it and have Efron be Nightwing?
100%.
That would have been like,
Can you
skip
imagine
over the Robin?
Can you imagine
era.
Affleck and Efron just chewing the scenery as Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne?
Yeah,
It'd
and
be-
especially the arguments.
Oh my
the
God,
like
yes.
father-son type
Yes.
arguments. All right, we're getting off track, and I don't want to do that. That's a whole different discussion.
Well, the only problem you said with that was Affleck, so
You don't like Affleck as Batman?
I don't like him as anything.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh, I love his Batman, and I like him in other stuff too. So now we got Beauty and the Beast versus Little Shop of Horrors. Now, as far as animated ones go, obviously Beauty and the Beast is going to be up there against other ones. But man, I love Little Shop.
I
of
love
Horrors.
Little Shop is great.
Oh, Rick
I
Moranis. is
love
like-
Little Shop of Horrors. It's just.
It's dark.
It's dark
funny.
and it's
perfect.
weird
In
and
its-
it's
in its
so
way.
cool. And as soon as like you think you're like it gets to like you think it's gotten to peak weirdness,
Seymour?
Steve Martin comes
Yeah,
in.
right. Like,
Out of
But
left
then what
field.
happens after he comes in weird? You got Bill Murray coming in
Yeah.
being even weirder.
Like,
Yeah,
it's,
you know?
it's Little Shop is one of those. Like, do you remember when we were kids when they actually came out with a cartoon?
Yeah.
Like 20 years after the musical drop, they come out. Obviously, we don't know, the original material at that point in time.
Yeah.
And then, like, I remember years later, first time watching the movie, I'm like, oh, I remember this cartoon. And then I'm like, they made a cartoon out of this? Like,
Yeah.
this is.
They made a lot of cartoons out of a lot of weird things.
Yeah.
RoboCop had a cartoon.
Yeah.
Rambo had a cartoon.
Yeah.
But with horrors, though, too, there's some people don't think with Beauty and the Beast, that fight scene at the end where you got everything getting smashed up and people. That's not just furniture and shit getting smashed up. They're gonna turn back into people.
People,
Now think
yeah.
of that mess that's left there.
Yeah. Like Beauty and the Beast is a top 5 Disney animated movie for mine.
Yeah,
Like,
if we're to strictly start.
and like if that was up against a lot of the other things in here,
it'd be
it
in
would.
the upper echelon.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So, all right.
So we got
So now we're gonna go back up
Grease
to the top left.
versus the Blues Brothers.
What do you think?
I'm going Grease 100%. Me, like, again, everything I
See-
said still about Blues Brothers still holds true. But for me, Grease, like, when something comes up, I'm hard pressed to say this, like, something is my favorite musical, but Grease is my favorite musical.
And I'm gonna call you a sheep
It's just
because
it just is.
Grease.
It was always
Grease is a
it was
decent
always
musical.
on HBO
Okay.
when I was little, and it was the one I
And
watched the most. It
And there's lots of
stuck
stuff
with
on
me.
HBO after 10 o'clock also, Garrett.
You know what I mean? It stuck with me.
But
That's it.
like Grease is a decent musical. It's got decent songs, decent acting. To me, it's the Beatles of musical. Like it's just overhyped. It's not as good as everybody thinks it is. And the reason I think that is because it's usually the first musical kids are introduced to as children, like in school and everything. So they have a special place for it, and they don't realize how just kind of wishy-washy it really is. Like, ooh, Grease Lightning, like cool.
It's awesome. What are you talking about?
And then you got something like the Blues Brothers that actually has true heart and comedy and action, and like the music is actually good music. Like Blues Brothers all day.
I'm gonna lose here, aren't I?
We can both agree, though. I'll agree, though, that both these movies had sequels that nobody wanted or asked
Oh
for,
my
right?
God, Grease 2 is.
The only thing Grease 2 was good for was giving the world Michelle Pfeiffer.
No,
We
I
could-
hate that movie because of it, because I hate Michelle Pfeiffer.
We could literally.
Except in Batman.
That was good.
I think
And
the
Wolf.
only,
She was good in Wolf too.
the only time we would actually do a list to find out what was worse is if we did a sequels one. Like, what's the worst sequel?
Sequel, absolutely.
And then find no, this movie is way worse than this movie as like, and if Grease didn't make the top 4, if not win, Grease 2 was. I don't even
Are
wanna
you
talk-
okay?
No, I don't even want
See,
to talk
that's
about
Wow,
what
it.
I touched a nerve.
That's how he sounds.
so bad.
When he
It's
calls me
so
at night.
bad.
He gets so upset when he has nightmares about you.
Dude,
That's
stop.
how he starts talking.
Just, no, stop. Come on, man. That was supposed to be private.
And I'm trying to help you get past it. Help
and
you
now,
face your fears.
but now I know that he come over and cuddle you. So, have fun at the next show you're at.
Damn it.
But
I'm
yes,
going
you are
Blues
going to
Brothers.
lose Blues Brothers.
Oh, come on. I cannot. Oh.
I'm not. Now listen. I'm not going to take anything away from Grease.
I can't
I'm not going to, because
believe it.
Olivia Newton-John, oof, love her, especially in those pants.
I can't believe this. I quit. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I quit.
So
All
now
right.
we got Jesus Christ Superstar versus Rock of Ages. Jesus Christ Superstar is
I don't think anything. I think.
I love Jesus Christ Superstar. It is probably the soundtrack my mom listened to the most. Like I grew up, hey Zana Hosanna, like, and it's such like the stage show and the movie. It's so trippy because it's straight like they're all 70s hippies, and they're just in this really weird mountainous wasteland, and they all look like they're like tripping out on mushrooms the whole time.
They were.
But they're telling the story of Jesus. Like, I remember watching it in Sunday school in, like, 5th grade, already kind of understanding, like, what is going on. I'm like, does this teacher not know what she's showing us right now? Like, and it's awesome. A very diverse cast. The soundtrack is one of the best musical soundtracks ever. And it's about His Holiness. And it's his time of year right now. It'd be almost sacrilegious not to at least let him get to the next round.
Fighting too hard for this one.
I love it. It's because I love
Where are
it.
you going with this?
I agree with him. It's a great movie.
You just think he's going too far.
I think he's going a little too far.
All right. Yeah.
I saw.
So I mean, it's Superstar is gonna definitely win that then, because it doesn't matter what I say. So
well, I'm glad you finally realized that.
it doesn't matter what I say here.
Listen, Roman soldiers in tight freaking tank tops with machine guns and shiny silver helmets. That just jumped out at me in Sunday school too. Like, this is just freaking weird. And
It's awesome.
I realize that this is a weird time to bring this up, considering we already started this. But should we have put Men in Tights on this?
There's a few on here that you didn't put up that I'm surprised aren't.
Well,
there.
I mean, you got.
And actually, I thought Men in Tights too.
Well, there'll always be sequel brackets too. Like we discussed that when we first did the show. Like, obviously we can't. We're only doing 24 movies each time. So like next 90s, season when we do if we do musicals again, it'll be 24 different movies.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be next season. Like 90s action, there's 3 lists. Yeah. There's list A, B, and C of 90s action because there was so many, and then there's even 90s sci-fi action, and then 90s like suspense.
That's why we had
action. There's so many in the 90s. Down, it was insane.
Like, we could probably do a whole bracket on animated musicals. Like,
yeah, just animated alone. Like the way we can do it. Anything we can do to also stretch out more of the.
And so next we got Lion King versus Phantom of the Opera. Lion King all day. I'll die on that hill. That's the greatest Disney movie of all time.
It is the greatest Disney movie of all time.
No.
What? What's the greatest Disney movie of all time?
Not that.
What is?
I don't know. I don't watch that crap. Disney is just nothing but you know what? Never mind. I won't tell you what I think about Disney. But Lion King's good. I don't like the inaccuracies. Like, when Mufasa died, Scar would have totally tore Simba to shreds. Like, that should have been in there.
Yeah.
He would have killed all the cubs.
Yeah,
that just would have been how it was, So Simba would have eaten the warthog and the meerkat. I like the realism.
Right. So
the singing animals part didn't bother you at all?
The what?
The singing animals part?
I'd kill them all.
But we're going Lion King.
I'm going
over
Lion
Phantom.
King.
Okay, I'm going it too. It's more of an enjoyable.
You guys are children. I feel uncultured. Uncultured swine.
I feel like Coffin may end up hitting me with his.
I brought the nightstick. I will be hitting you.
All right, so then
The Wizard of Oz versus Across the Universe.
I mean, I love Across the Universe.
I represent the Lollipop Guild. Okay,
but Wizard of Oz.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love Across the Universe. It's one of my top movies. But Wizard of Oz.
Like, one of the things about Wizard of Oz, as I've gotten older, like watching documentaries and like kind of doing research about that movie, do you know how messed up the production was?
Oh, it was horrible.
Like, do you know what they used to do? What the hell's her name? Judy Garland. They would give her cigarettes, caffeine, and cocaine, I believe, to get her up, then give her whatever to put her to sleep. And, like, that's why she was, like, so messed up in her adult life and, like, a drug addict.
She was a horrible drug addict.
And all because on The Wizard of Oz, to get her to do what they want to do. Like, the Tin Man, when they painted him with that silver paint.
It was supposed to be Buddy Ebsen, who was Beverly Hillbillies. He had a horrible... He almost died from allergic reaction.
Like, because whatever was in that paint, like, shouldn't have been put on people.
Yep.
And they painted him head to toe. His, like, skin was stained. It's like
the witch almost died during a stunt. They blew her ass up. She ended up in the hospital with severe burns.
And let's not forget the person who hung themselves.
That's been disproved.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not true.
That's been disproved. But if you put that on and then a little Pink Floyd at the same time, I mean,
I've heard that. I've never actually done that.
Apparently, it actually.
The last Munchkin just died in this last year. The last living Munchkin from this movie just died.
You know, every midget that dies now claims that over the age of whatever. Anyways.
So we're going Wizard?
Yeah, we're going Wizard.
Oh, yeah, we're going Wizard.
And then Violent J's Wizard of the Hood was really good, too. But that, never mind.
And the Wiz was good, too.
Yeah, it was...
Okay, now we're on to West Side Story.
Yes, that's what it is. That's the winner.
Versus Willy Wonka.
West Side Story? West Side Story is the good Romeo and Juliet. The Sharks and the Jets... Like, and part of the reason I did musicals for this week is because the new one just came out this past Friday. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing it yet, but everything I've heard is that Spielberg knocked it out of the park. Like, it's that time. And, like, during that time, too, when the time it was made, there were big issues with, racial discrimination, like people just hating each other and not trying to take a chance to understand each other. And, like... I like the basis of the fact that, like, we're part of this gang, and we're part of this gang over the the Capulets and the
Montagues.
yeah,
Well, that was gangs.
right.
Just
But
had the
like,
same name.
Yeah.
and it's just this was the musical in school that I was like, oh, this is way better than that Grease crap. Like this is good. This you get the violence in there. You got sweet dance moves. Like I love West Side Story.
Coffin.
I love West Side Story too. That's one I grew up on. It's another one. It was put together perfectly.
Right.
And the fact that Tony dies at the end and it's an unhappy ending, I love that.
Yes.
But the songs are good. The dancing is good. Natalie Wood is amazing.
Rest her soul.
Until she became Natalie Driftwood. What? Oh, yeah, no, she drowned. Oops, my bad. They found her floating. Anyways, now do you think?
Under very
No.
very,
Let me ask. Do you think it was either walk-in or
Yes, I 100% do.
Herman Wagner?
I think it was Wagner. I think it was Wagner.
Wagner?
not
Okay, I think I'm not. Garrett, you right over there?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm fine.
No, definitely West Side Story, and which is nothing against from Willy Wonka, because that is also an amazing movie. But I would have to go with West Side on this because it is what it is.
West Side.
All right. Well, then West Side is up over Willy Wonka.
Okay, let's fight over this next one.
There you go. I absolutely love Rent.
Movie sucked.
Oh,
It's Rocky Horror
Seasons of Love
over
is
Rent
such a great song.
all day.
The cast in Rent.
Listen, after I got over my Rosario Dawson blindness and saw that movie for what it was, it's a terrible movie.
I like it.
Why? The music's not that good. There are a couple good songs. The music's not that good. The story is shit. Pardon my language. The acting isn't even all that good.
I thought the acting was good.
Eh.
Like it's pretty unbelievable. Like the whole how they're trying to get there. I love the story. Like I love It's just something that it clicked very cool to me. And like you got the dad from The Flash. He's the main guy in there. Who he sings like an absolute stud. Like, and it's just I love Rent. Now, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Hold on one sec. Dahava's on here asking, there's no La La Land. Again, that's another movie we would end up putting on, like,
The
lists,
next one.
like musicals too. You know what I mean? Like, again, we're just going to end up.
And we're always,
Yes.
people can always submit what they want us to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rocky Horror is great. Tim Curry is an absolute.
A legend.
He's a national treasure. Like, let's be honest.
Which nation?
Every nation.
Okay.
He's a world treasure.
And this movie, and I like seeing it as a kid, seeing it as a teenager, and seeing it as an adult. You take different things away from it and appreciate it even more. And it's this crazy transvestite Frankenstein weird, but it works. And I've always wanted to go, like, they have the showings of it where people like basically just sing everything out and there's cues to it and
Got
everything.
prop bags and stuff.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go on one of those just because it has such a manic cult following behind
Yeah,
it.
some of them people are a little crazy.
Yeah, and the fact that he's saying
Yeah, I
that
mean,
they're crazy.
I'm not gonna get, like that super into it. But I mean, it's Rocky Horror Picture Show is awesome.
You got Tim
I've
Curry
seen his
and-
closet. I'll send
What were you
pictures.
doing in his closet? That's my question.
Getting
right
his
now.
blankie for him when he was crying?
And so you started snooping around,
No, I opened up. It's just hanging there.
started sniffing things too.
No.
Can we please just drop that, please?
Why would you let him in your closet?
I didn't. I was probably already asleep when he went in there.
No, you were crying for blankie.
You guys have some kind of weird things you need to work out sometime. I don't.
See, it's funny you say that. That's
Can
what
we,
a therapist
can we go
said.
back? Can we go back to the discussion about Rent versus Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Rocky Horror.
You guys both pick
Rocky
Rocky
Horror.
Horror. Like,
Rocky Horror.
Rocky
yeah.
Horror. Okay.
sorry, Rent.
All
And
right.
surprisingly, and also thankfully, with Rocky Horror, they haven't thought, "Hey, you know what we need to do? We need to remake this."
Well, they did actually. 2 years ago, they did a live version of.
No. We don't speak of that. That never happened. That doesn't.
Yeah, the
exist.
whole like live on TV things, those don't count as
That
movies.
doesn't count. That's just a live performance that was.
Those don't count.
televised.
Those, I'm sorry, but those don't count as movies.
And it also sucked.
All right. So now we got Mary Poppins versus the Muppets.
Julie Andrews is overrated.
So
Hashtag preach. Like Mary Poppins to me is
it
okay at best.
it's
Dick Van Dyke's the best part of the damn movie.
Yes, and he's still going.
It's classic.
Yeah, he was
but-
in the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's classic. You know, for good
I'll
reasons.
tell you-
but I was never wowed by it.
Me either. I have to say, Emily
never
Blunt
once was
definitely
I-
killed it as doing like playing like she. If like showing it to the kids, if you told them that was the same actress, they would probably be like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
Kids are stupid though. So.
Yeah, I am their father, so I can't.
Oh, your kids? I just meant in general.
But I would go Muppets, me personally, over Mary Poppins, just because, again, it's not something that wowed me. It was never, So what's that one?
Sound of Music.
Oh, The Sound of Music versus Little Shop of Horrors.
Unpopular opinion. Sound of
Just missed me.
the Sound of Music should be remade without the music.
The-
Because I'm always down for a Nazi movie.
Well, the story behind it is it's a true story that
Right.
that happened, and I agree. Without the music,
Like, I love those kind of like movies.
would have been it'd be a very interesting story to see how
Yeah.
they had to escape the Nazis because Dad didn't want to go back and fight for them. Which I mean, who the hell would?
Absolutely.
I mean, how does it start? Some nuns got annoyed at somebody who didn't behave, so they all right, you go watch some kids, and she ended up banging the dad. I mean, there's a whole thing. They make porn like that. Anyways,
You watch Nazi porn?
is that a thing?
I'm sure.
I
it
hope
is.
not.
I hope not.
Garrett, is that a thing?
Why would I know? Weirdo.
Oh,
Why is that even?
So
in
are
your
we
mind?
going? Are we going Little
Anyways.
Shop over?
Yes,
Sound of
Little
Music?
Shop over Sound of Music.
I'm glad we're all on board with that. Let's get away from that other discussion. All right. So now we're gonna go back up.
Blues
Top
Brothers
left again.
versus Jesus Christ Superstar.
Now I'm back on board with Blues Brothers because it beat out Grease. So, but I'm back on that because I think it's better than Jesus Christ Superstar. Are you going Jesus Christ on this one?
As much as I love both of these, there's one of these that I just hold a little bit closer to my heart, and that is the Blues Brothers. As much as I love Jesus Christ Superstar, Blues Brothers is just, it's something that happened and it won't ever be able to be recreated. Now, where would you have gone?
Blues Brothers.
So that was a unanimous one.
Yeah, no, Blues Brothers. Nothing against Jesus Christ Superstar, but when it up against the Blues Brothers, it's not going to win.
All right. So now we got
Lion-
Lion King versus Wizard of Oz.
Lion King.
Wizard of Oz. Now it's on you.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
I'm going Wizard on that one. Don't get me wrong. I love Lion King. Could
Not
watch it
enough.
a bunch. But Wizard of Oz is Wizard of Oz, man. I mean,
West Side Story versus Rocky Horror.
This is where I have problems.
West Side Story for me. I'll leave it to you gents to chop it up.
my dog in the entire fight is gone. So I'm just sitting back watching the chaos at this point. My favorite one was taken out in the second round. So
Good. You're still crying about it.
I am.
All right, calm down.
I am. Where are we going? What are we doing?
Sitting here talking about movies,
I know. Rocky Horror,
which is great.
West
West
Side.
Side Story.
Which is great.
Are you gonna
The thing about these is
the
that
coin?
no. See, the thing is, they're two completely different things.
They're super different.
so different. You can't really compare them, except the fact that they're both movies that have music in them.
Right. But only one of these has Tim Curry. I don't know if that matters. I don't know. I'm just trying to create mayhem right now.
Nah,
so.
it's not a no. Oh, what do you want to say?
I passed the buck.
I'd go Rocky.
Okay.
I go Rocky and finally put the decision on somebody else because I usually end up being a tiebreaker.
Well, I'm going to go with West Side Story. And not because you want Rocky, just because West Side Story means a little bit more to me in my upbringing and everything.
All right.
The Muppets versus Little Shop of Horrors.
See, now this is where I would flip
Kermit Frog here.
I'd flip
Hi-ho.
from Muppets being so great down to I'd still go Little Shop.
Muppets for me.
What's your favorite Muppets movie, though?
So, it's that one tied with the first one.
Okay.
The first one, there's something so magical about the original Muppet movie. And, like, you see their origin stories. And this, The Muppets, is such a perfect sequel, especially to that first one, because it's them 30 years later, and, like, they're all not together. It's that whole bringing the band back together. And it has the same magic, which some of the other ones didn't have it all the way. Like Muppets Take Manhattan was okay to me. Great Muppet Caper, I absolutely love. Muppets in Space I thought was a great idea because it was so different than everything else. Muppets Christmas Carol is something that it's not one of my favorite Christmas movies, but it's a good interpretation of it.
It was well done. I like Muppet Treasure Island.
Muppet Treasure Island's a good one too.
And you're going Little Shop?
I'm going Little Shop.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Little Shop of Horrors as well.
Ooh.
All right.
All right.
This is getting interesting.
So, Blues Brothers versus Wizard of Oz.
Blues Brothers versus Wizard of Oz.
Blues Brothers for me.
Oz.
He's just screwing you right now.
I'm not trying to screw anybody. This is my opinion.
Blues Brothers.
West Side Story versus Little Shop of Horrors. West Side Story.
I'm going to lose that one too, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I got to go with West Side Story on that one.
All right.
Which is much as I love
Blues
Little Shop.
Brothers wins the left. West Side Story wins the right.
West Side Story takes it for me.
Now, I know this is one of your favorites.
They're both?
They're both one of my favorites.
Right. I'm saying Blues because you talked about how, but like where do you think we're going with this?
Well, see, with Blues Brothers, there's a lot of specialness with that. Between me and my cousin who has passed away, it's like one of the movies we grew up watching together. It's one of our things that we kind of bonded over growing up. Even the crappy sequel. West Side Story, I literally grew up watching for as long as I can remember. And, they both mean something to me.
I met the girl named Maria.
All right, that one means a little bit less to me now. Now when I want to watch, Sharks versus Jets, I get that in the NHL, so... I'm actually going to have to go West Side Story on this one, to be honest.
I hadn't even made up my mind. I was waiting to see because, again, so West Side Story is the winner of musicals, at least the first list that we're going to do of it. So, yeah. That's awesome.
Now, I want everybody to remember next week... There will be no Wrestle Fandom Radio.
Yes.
We'll be doing the Merry Music Madness Marathon, which will be our Christmas movies. And I wrote to Santa myself, and hopefully we can get somebody here from the North Pole to be our guest.
So, yeah. And then we'll flip back to regular stuff. Then
yep.
It'll
be the last Music Madness for the year too, I believe.
Movie Madness.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be.
Yep.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
And then the following week will be the last Wrestle Fandom of the year.
Absolutely. So, Coffin, we appreciate you coming back. And
I'll be back again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably on both shows.
Yeah. What would you want to come back to this show for?
Well, I have an interesting list, I think comparing survivors of horror movies, and one side you'd have the women, the other side you'd have the men.
I'd be down for it. Hey, that would get us another board out of horror. The horror
Because that's something that we can definitely branch off into is like different movie characters and stuff just to mix it up.
Absolutely.
I'm not even talking actors. I'm talking
Characters.
the characters.
Yeah, I'm talking characters.
Who's the best survivor, like, period of horror movies? No, you know what? I like that. I like, because it gets us more, which is why we took slashers specifically first out of horror, so we could make more out of just horror movies. Right. So I like that idea.
All right.
Yeah.
And then for the Wrestle fandom, I'm probably just gonna slap you around a little bit at some point.
Okay.
Besides that threat that he just made against you, do you feel better with the air open with you?
I was, it was fine. You didn't have to say anything.
But do you feel better, Amaze?
Yes, I feel better.
I think less of him now, and I didn't think very much of him before.
And that's fine.
See, was why
he doesn't have a high self-esteem anymore. Anyway.
That's why I didn't want you to say anything.
It's because he's kind of got the face of a possum.
Please don't bring the possum thing back.
I mean, look at him. Doesn't he kind of look like a possum?
No, I never saw it before, but now.
Especially with
it's the gray hair.
Starting to get the gray in there. He got that longer kind of face, that big, beady little eyes.
See, I always thought he looked like Michael Cole.
Now, you throw him on a trash heap, that's a possum.
Is this really necessary?
Yeah. I've been nice the entire time.
You have.
And I'm still technically being nice.
He is.
I know.
He likes possums.
I know.
Yeah, they're useful. They are useful, I'll give you that.
All right. Can we end this now?
Thank you to our sponsors.
We appreciate the sponsors, and we will see everyone next week for the big Christmas show.
Guys, thank you for allowing me to be here, and Epstein didn't kill himself.
All right. If everyone didn't already know that, we can't help.
Listen, there's a trial going on that people need to pay attention to because
there's a lot going on that people need to pay attention to, but that is not for the show. We'll talk to everyone.
Throwing it out there.
We'll talk to everyone later.